Namaste. Hello, beautiful mamas, or anybody just looking for a really nice, gentle stretch. I have a prenatal yoga for us today that is going to be extremely beneficial during those last months of pregnancy, especially in the 3rd trimester. However, it is good for all trimesters. It's just especially beneficial during those last few months when we're getting really big and really uncomfortable. So it's going to be super gentle, easy on the joints, and really relaxing. Now the only things that we will need, they're completely optional, but they are a pillow or a blanket to prop our hips up on in a seated position. And if being on the ground in certain positions is beginning to get painful for your joints, so it's just uncomfortable, have a chair nearby so I can show you how to improvise some of our postures to do them on the chair so that we can avoid injuries and be extremely comfortable, or at least as comfortable as possible. Also, some water. It's really important to stay hydrated, especially during pregnancy, so have some water nearby, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So bringing our body to a comfortable seated position. If you have that pillow or blanket, you can prop your hips up on that now. We're going to start by taking a really deep breath in and reaching our arms up overhead, clasping the hands and just reaching up. You can turn your palms so that they're facing up towards the sky and just really reach up. Breathe deep, make space. Baby's pushing up against our ribs, making it really hard for us to breathe. I know I feel really winded all the time. So it's good to lengthen, create space, and just take really deep breaths. And exhale. And inhale, reach up. And exhale. And one more time, inhale, reach up. And now exhale, cactus arms, so bending our elbows, squeezing our shoulder blades together, really opening up through the chest. Taking really deep belly breaths here. Good. On your next inhale, reach back up. And now mirror me for the postures. We're going to go ahead and drop our left hand to the left side of our mat, reaching up and over with our right arm, pulling that right shoulder back, opening our heart up to the sky, feeling a wonderful stretch throughout the right side body, keeping both sit bones grounded either on your mat or on that pillow or on that blanket. Taking really deep breaths here will accentuate the stretch. And if you have a bit more, you can drop that left elbow down to touch the mat. But only if it's comfortable and only if you can keep both of your sit bones grounded and one hip is not hiking up. Deep breath in, exhale, and inhale, gently pushing ourselves back up to a neutral spine, reaching up with both arms, and switching sides. So exhaling, dropping our right hand to the right side of our mat, reaching up and over with our left arm, pulling backwards with that left shoulder. Gazing upward if it's comfortable for your neck. Making sure both sit bones are grounded. Begin to take really deep breaths here. If you can reach, you can go ahead and drop your elbow down to the mat if both sit bones stay grounded. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale, reaching up with both arms. Big breath. And exhale, bring our arms around and down. Doing some shoulder rolls towards the back of the room. And then switch to the front. We're going to go ahead and go into a cobbler's position. So bringing the insides of our feet to touch each other. Opening our knees out wide. Letting gravity pull them down. And sitting up tall here. So it helps me to grab around my ankles or around my shins and pull my chest forward so that I can feel my spine straightening, bringing my shoulders away from my ears. Leaning slightly forward. You should be feeling this along the inner thighs. If you have a bit more stretch, you can press down your knees with your elbows. However, be mindful of your spine and keeping it long and straight. With every inhale, go ahead and lengthen. And every exhale, bring yourself just a little bit closer, your chest to your feet. Remembering to breathe deep. Take a deep breath in and exhale and inhale. Bring yourself up to neutral spine, and now go ahead and rock with one side or with your knees to one side, bringing them up and over to the other. Just bringing some movement to those hips, but being mindful of our belly to make space. If you are on that pillow or blanket, you can go ahead and take it out from under you right now. And we're gonna all bring ourselves to a tabletop position. So super slowly, super mindfully, moving over so that our shoulders are over our wrists and our hips are over our knees. Slight bend in the elbows. We're gonna begin with some cat-cows. So take a deep inhale. Bring your chin up, chest forward. Don't drop your belly down super far. Just enough to where you still feel like you have control over your core. And exhale, round up through the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Tuck the baby in. Inhale. Drop the belly slightly, bring the chin forward, tailbone upwards. And exhale, round up, tuck the baby in. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to do 2 more of these on our own. Once you have done 2 sets, go ahead and just come to a neutral spine. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and sit back into our child's position. So now bringing the knees out super wide here, making room for that baby. Pushing our bottoms back towards our heels, and then walking our fingertips forward. You can go ahead and drop your forehead to the mat and just reaching forward with your fingers. Relaxing the back. Taking deep breaths. take a deep breath in. And then we're going to go ahead and walk our hands to the left side of our mat. So staying in our child's position, just bringing our hands toward the left, feeling a deep stretch through the right side body. You can bring your right hand over your left, and that will increase the stretch. Inhale back to center, and exhale towards the right side of our mat. You can bring your left hand over your right, and that will increase the stretch through the left side body. And then inhale, coming back to center. Exhale. And inhale, gently guiding ourselves back up to our tabletop position. Let's bringing our knees back underneath our hips. And we're going to go ahead and go into our puppy posture to stretch out our chest. So bringing our hands forward and bringing our chest down towards the mat. It doesn't need to touch. And if you can rest your chin onto the mat, making sure that our hips are directly over our knees. Big shoulder stretch, big chest stretch. This is going to be a really good one to do once the baby is born as well, as you're holding and cradling that baby, and that draws your shoulders and your chest forward. So it's really good to take some time to open those up. Breathing deep into the belly. Take a deep inhale and exhale, and inhale, gently guide ourselves back up to our tabletop position. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and stretch out the feet, so go ahead and tuck your toes. And then you can go ahead, if that feels good and that is enough stretch for you in those feet, you can just stay here. Otherwise, you can walk your hands towards your knees. That will increase the stretch a bit. And or you can come all the way up, bringing our torsos erect, and that will increase the stretch as well. So during pregnancy, we get a lot of fluid buildup in our feet, or just a lot of pain in our feet that may be resonating, or plantar fasciitis. So it's really good to stretch these out, stretch out the fascia in our feet, so that we feel more comfort in our feet, and that we can also move some of that fluid out of our feet so they're not so swollen. Water, drinking more water also does help with that. So taking deep breaths. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling, and then inhaling, walk back to our tabletop position. Now this time we're going to keep our toes tucked. We're going to push our hips up high. So pushing our tailbone up towards the sky, pushing our heels towards the mat. torsos towards our thighs. Slight bend in the elbows, downward dog. Now you can walk it out, so bending one knee, straightening the other, and switching. And go ahead and find some stillness, really pushing those heels towards the mat. We're going to go ahead and bring our left foot forward in between our hands, dropping our right knee down. We're just going to hang out in this lunge here. So pushing our hips low, having our front knee over our front ankle, squaring off our hips, so pulling back the left hip, pushing forward with the right hip. Really feeling a good stretch through that right hip flexor. You can stay down with your hands if that's comfortable. Otherwise, if you have the balance, you can go ahead and come up. You can place your hands on your thigh or onto your hips, or you can place them up in the air too if you wish. So whatever is comfortable for you, just go ahead and stay there. Really stretch out that hip flexor. If you are up, you can now go ahead and set your hands down onto the mat. And we're all going to go ahead and push back onto that front heel, so bringing the toes up towards the face. Slight bend in the knee, bringing our hips over our back knee. So just a really wonderful hamstring stretch and calf stretch, and also the more you flex your foot, the more you will feel this into the bottom of that foot. Making sure to square off the hips here. Just breathe. If that back knee is beginning to hurt, you can go ahead and double up your mat, so just folding it over to create some extra cushion. Take a deep inhale. Exhale and inhale. Go ahead and come back to your low lunge. So just setting that front foot back down onto the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and tuck the back toes, push up off that back foot, and then bring that front foot back to our back leg in that downward facing dog. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. So we'll bring that right foot in between the hands, setting down our back knee, pushing forward low with the hips. You may need to adjust so that you can really get that leg on the outside of that baby bump. Don't want to squash the baby at all. You want to create space and have room for the baby. So if this is comfortable for you, you can stay down with your hands touching the mat. If you want to, you can also come up. Make sure you're squaring off the hip, pulling the right hip back, pushing forward with the left hip. Breathing deep, just really letting go, letting your body relax into this posture, opening up. If you are up, you can go ahead and now set your hands down onto the mat. We're all going to go ahead and push up onto the front of that heel, the heel of the front foot, bringing the toes up towards the face, pushing our hips over our back knee. You can double up on the mat if that's better for your knee. Squaring off the hips and just tipping forward. Feeling the wonderful stretch to the back of that right leg. Take an inhale, coming back onto that front foot, tucking the back foot under, pushing up off of that knee, and bringing the front foot back to meet the left foot into our downward facing dog. I'm going to walk it out here. Now we're going to go ahead and go into our pigeon posture. So you may need the chair for this position. I will show you on the mat first, and then I will show you on a chair. Go ahead and bring that left knee to that left wrist, walking backwards with the right leg, checking behind you to make sure the hips are squares. You may need to pull that right leg forward to square off the hips. And to make room for the belly, it's best to just stay here. If you are in an earlier trimester other than the third, you can go ahead and come down onto your elbows. But we want to make sure to never compress that baby. And you should be feeling this in the outside of the left hip. Now, you can stay here if this is good for you. If you have that chair, you can go ahead and come to a nice seated position. And just go ahead and cross your left leg over your right. And you want to have it more a little bit above the ankle. You can just go ahead and push down ever so slightly onto that left knee. And just tip forward. You'll be targeting the same area with this position, so it's just as effective. This is a wonderful stretch to help release that piriformis muscle, which comes from our tailbone and comes to our outer hip. It's a tight little band, and it can get really tight, especially during pregnancy while our hips are opening. So if you just imagine those opening and that muscle tightening. And then your sciatic nerve actually runs underneath that muscle. And so then that muscle can become tight, compress that nerve, and then you may be feeling a lot of pain or sharp tingling sensations that may run down your leg. And that can be all because of this little muscle here. So just doing this stretch every day, if you feel that pain, is really beneficial and will hopefully help give you some relief. Taking deep breaths. Take a deep breath in wherever you are at. And exhale. And inhale. If you're on the chair, go ahead and uncross and sit up. And if you are in your pigeon posture on the mat, go ahead and just tuck that back toe, push up off of that knee, and then bring that left leg back to the right into our downward dog. Now we're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist, walking back ever so slightly with that left leg, checking behind you to make sure the hips are square, so you need to pull forward with that left leg. And again, just staying here to make room for that baby, unless it is comfortable for you to come down onto your elbows. Or you can put the pillow in front of you also and then just rest upon it, and that will also create the space for the baby. So now if this feels good for you, just stay here. If this doesn't feel good and you're in that chair, we'll go ahead and cross our right leg over our left, pushing down ever so slightly onto that right knee, and just tipping forward. breath in, exhaling, and inhaling. If you're in the chair, go ahead and uncross. And if you are down onto the mat, go ahead and tuck that left toe under, push up off that knee, and bringing our front leg back to our back in that downward dog. And then stepping forward in between the hands with both feet. We will all meet here, just in a nice forward fold. So slight bend in the knees. Make sure your feet are wide enough apart that you're making room for your baby. Tipping from the hips, so we are not rounding too much through the spine. Feeling the stretch all throughout the back of those legs, maybe even into the glutes. Breaths. If it's more comfortable for you to just come up to a flat back, you can bring your hands to your shins or to your knees and just coming to a flat back. You'll still feel the stretch throughout the back of the legs, but without coming down so far. Then we're all going to roll up one vertebrae at a time, super slowly. Once you come up, taking a deep inhale and reaching our arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Wonderful. Go ahead and grab a drink of water. Remembering to stay hydrated. And then we're going to go ahead and turn sideways onto our mats. We're going to take a deep breath, reaching our arms up. Now we're going to go ahead and exhale, bending our knees, bringing them a little bit out of hip distance apart. So from hip distance a little further out, slightly at an angle out, squatting down. So our elbows come to the insides of our knees, bringing our palms to touch and pushing against each other, creating opposition here. Pushing into the insides of those knees to help open them even more. Relaxing through that lower back, reaching our tailbone towards the mat. Go ahead and close your eyelids. Just breathe deep here. This is a wonderful position to help, especially during those last few months of labor, to do every single day. Helps baby get into the optimal position for birthing, helps open your hips, and also helps release your lower back. Which I know we all are feeling the pain of the lower backs throughout the whole pregnancy, but especially in those last months. Exhale. And now we're going to go ahead and just guide ourselves over to a seated position. So just bringing our bottoms down. You can grab that pillow or blanket if you wish, and just all coming to a comfortable seated position. Closing our eyelids, bringing our shoulders up, back, and away from our ears. Go ahead and And rest your hands on your baby. Relax your face. Send oxygen to your baby. Send love to your baby. Also send love to your body. Your body is amazing. It's doing amazing work right now. It always is, but especially right now. You're creating another life. Feel your power. Feel your goddess energy. Understand that you've got this. You have all the power to bring this baby earthside. However it ends up coming earthside, you are a strong, beautiful, wonderful Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you all again. Have a lovely day and bye.